At the end of 2023, a move by the Danish royal family shocked the world. On December 31, 2023, during her annual New Year's Eve speech, Queen Margrethe II of Denmark announced her abdication and passed the throne to her eldest son, Frederik. The abdication was set for January 14, 2024, which also marked the 52nd anniversary of her ascension to the throne. Queen Margrethe II's abdication meant that, following the death of Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom, the longest reigning monarch in Europe would be stepping out of the public eye. In her speech, Queen Margrethe cited her official reason for abdicating. A back surgery she underwent in early 2023 had led her to reflect on the future and whether it was time to pass on the responsibility to the next generation. She concluded that now was the right moment to do so. However, some media outlets speculated that the Queen's decision was aimed at saving her eldest son Frederik's marriage. Not long before the announcement, Frederik had been caught meeting privately with a Mexican socialite. The public speculated that the Queen was concerned about the potential breakdown of Frederik and Mary's marriage and that by abdicating and making them king and queen, she hoped they could regain strength and unity through working together in their new roles. Denmark has the oldest monarchy in Europe. In 1972, 32-year-old Princess Margrethe assumed the heavy responsibility of the Danish crown from her late father, King Frederik IX. It wasn't until Margrethe was 13 that the Danish constitution was amended to allow women to inherit the throne. From then on, as the king's eldest daughter, Margrethe became the heir presumptive. After ascending the throne, Queen Margrethe was deeply loved by the Danish people for her sense of duty to the country, her talents, her elegant fashion sense, and her down-to-earth personality. She is widely known for her multifaceted and outstanding abilities. Not only is she a linguist and designer, but also an illustrator. In 2021, American streaming giant Netflix even collaborated with Queen Margrethe II, hiring her as a set designer for one of its films. The Danish public once regarded Margrethe II as the coolest queen in the world. It was often said in Denmark that even if Margrethe weren't queen, they would still choose her to be their prime minister. Unlike the late Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom, who combined a sense of rigor with a hint of humor, Queen Margrethe II of Denmark exudes a witty and creative personality. She stands out among European monarchs for her open defiance of convention and her extremely down-to-earth, approachable character. She often walks through the streets of Denmark without any visible bodyguards or companions, dressed casually, blending seamlessly with the crowd. She presents a stark contrast to her more formal, public appearances in full regalia. She also frequents the same supermarkets as ordinary Danes to shop for everyday groceries. When she encounters citizens who recognize her, she engages with them warmly and even agrees to take photos with them. Of course, like anyone, Queen Margrethe has her flaws. She is known to enjoy smoking and has often been seen openly indulging in this habit in public. Queen Margrethe is also known for her boundless energy and strong physique in carrying out her royal duties. She regularly visits Greenland and the Faroe Islands, two semi-independent territories of the Danish kingdom. At the age of 70, she represented the country on a visit to the troops stationed in Afghanistan, where she even wore a military jumpsuit. She loves skiing, and in her younger years, she joined the Danish Women's Air Force, practiced judo, and underwent rigorous endurance training in the snow. She has remained dedicated to her role, achieved personal success, and maintained a down-to-earth demeanor without any negative publicity, making her a monarch who is hard not to admire. For many years, Queen Margrethe has been ranked as one of Denmark's most popular public figures. The public has even given her the nickname Daisy, because Margrethe means daisy in both Swedish and Danish. Margrethe married at the age of 27 to Henrik, a French diplomat she had met while studying abroad. Shortly after their marriage, the couple had two sons, Crown Prince Frederik and Prince Joachim. Although their high-profile marriage lasted for 50 years, in the final years of Prince Henrik's life, he publicly criticized the Queen for her coldness in their marriage. "I feel pushed aside in my own home." Every family has its struggles, and this is especially true for a monarch carrying such heavy responsibilities. Since the death of Queen Elizabeth II, Queen Margrethe has become the focus of much media attention. During this time, the Danish royal family was also embroiled in a scandal. In 2022, the Queen announced that starting in 2023, Prince Joachim's descendants would only hold the titles of Count and Countess of Montpezat, with the previous titles of Danish Prince and Princess no longer existing. The Queen wanted to create a framework for her 4 grandchildren that would allow them to lead more normal lives, free from the special considerations and duties that come with being formal members of the royal family. Margrethe's move was aimed at streamlining the future structure of the Danish monarchy, accommodating her eldest son's large family, and pushing the more peripheral members of the royal family out of the core circle, making it easier for Danish taxpayers to support the monarchy's long-term existence. While the Queen's intentions may have been good, the reality was that her son, Prince Joachim, his wife Marie, ex-wife Alexandra, and eldest grandson Nikolai publicly expressed their shock and confusion over the decision. Following this, Queen Margrethe issued a statement expressing her sadness that her actions had caused distress to Joachim's family. Now that we've talked about the Queen, let's move on to her eldest son, the current King Frederik X of Denmark.